Welcome back, guys. This is Game 2 of the B07 show match between WhiteRa and Dimaga, brought to you by SC2Saga.com. They put up 253,000 Korean won for the winner of this show match, and that is just a fancy way of saying 225 US dollars. Aren't currency conversions fun? I know, I like them. Definitely nice to hear those bigger numbers from time to time. And small correction, I think it's 150 to the winner and 75 to the person who loses, so both players do end up getting something. Both WhiteRa and Dimaga are very good friends, and I think it was up to WhiteRa to pick his opponent, because SC2 Saga just loves WhiteRa like everyone else, and he is going to be placing a pylon up here at 9 supply, so he is not going to be going for that Forge Fast Expand, and we'll see what Dimaga ends up doing. As we saw in Game 1, Dimaga was being Dimaga and playing like no other Zergs, at least no other common Zergs, like Stefano, Idra, Nesty, etc. How often do you see them just go pure Ling Bling against Protoss and trade armies until they go up to Broodlords, and then even when they're at Broodlords, not building Infestors? Dimaga has always had his play style. I remember back in the beta when he found out 4 Banelings could kill a supply depot, and against every single Terran he would Baneling bust, and then Terrans got wise and like, okay, well, we'll just build a barracks and a factory and have that as a wall. Screw supply depots. And Dimaga, he'd be like, I'll just build 15 Banelings and bust that wall. For a time, Dimaga was unstoppable in TVZ with his Baneling busting capabilities. And then Kirix came around with his 2 base Baneling busts, which were even scarier. But those were funny times back in the beta when the average game length was like 10 or 12 minutes. Now they are much longer. We do see Dimaga doing the same build, 15 pull, 15 hatch. It looks like he really likes this one build. WhiteRa making a small mistake right there. Could have blocked that hatch for just a little bit. And now WhiteRa going to be coming in here, disrupting the mining on one of the close mineral patches, does get away with some minerals, and is not going to be leaving the base because that would be a mistake as the spawning pool hasn't even finished. Wants to check the gas timing out just to see if there was a gas, and now he will be going on back home. We do have him building a cybernetics core down here, and I have no idea what WhiteRa is doing. Dimaga not really scouting out WhiteRa, so he won't know this is going to be not a Forge Fast Expand. And if WhiteRa had blocked this one hatch and made it even look like a Forge Fast Expand, that would be devastating to Dimaga. It would have been even funny if he placed a pylon right here, because Dimaga, he didn't know there was no Forge, so he would pull drones to deal with that one pylon, while WhiteRa is just getting a gateway army up and researching warp gates, and could actually hit a nice timing because Dimaga doesn't have the minerals because he was dealing with a pylon. We do have that one probe now going to be returning home. Dimaga trying to get in front of it with that one Ling to give him extra hits, and he's going to try the 2 Lings around on a probe. Not really that effective. A Zealot is going to be coming down here, and the Ling does just run by, and oh, he doesn't go up the ramp, and wait, no, he is. Just making sure his brother is alive, and now sees the Cybernetic core and no Forge, and also doesn't see the Nexus. Did he go far enough? I don't think he went far enough to even see if there was a Nexus morphing. Just going to immediately retreat because WhiteRa is coming in, and maybe Dimaga was like, oh man, this could be some type of foregate. There was a probe, a Zealot, and now a Stalker is going out. I gotta get back home and deal with this. 2 Queens gonna be coming down here, and we'll see exactly what he ends up building. Dimaga could be in a little bit of trouble, but WhiteRa just going to be expanding. He is not doing anything, only has 1 gate, leaving a Stalker back at home. This is just a big, big bluff by WhiteRa. And we'll see if Dimaga builds anything but drones, because it looks like Dimaga has kind of sniffed this bluff out, and he's still only sitting at 2 Lings. Doesn't build any more, not researching speed. Well, he doesn't have the gas to research speed yet, but 6 drones. So it looks like Dimaga is going to be calling WhiteRa's bluff. And I'm not exactly sure what led him to believe it's just a complete bluff, but Dimaga doing the smart thing right now. And WhiteRa could be in a little bit of trouble because that was definitely expected to do a lot of damage. I think almost any Zerg would have fallen for that bluff and overbuilt Lings. And now that Zealot does get taken out for absolutely free. I mean free because it didn't even get a single hit off. And the Spine Caller gonna be going up. It starts out around half health. but there are 3 queens, and Dimaga keeps all 3 queens down here, just momentarily goes up to vomit, and then she goes back on down. We do have a probe on the way out from WhiteRa, and this one overload is going to be taken out, and WhiteRa going to be building a pylon and maybe putting on a little bit of pressure now as he is going up to 4 gates. And Dimaga losing this one overload will not be supply capped. 47 out of 68 supply, and that one probe, oh no, it's going to go down. This is going to be very bad for WhiteRa, as this will just say you can't do any aggression now. And their Stalker's going to be trying to return home, but the speed now just finishing for those lings. And this has turned upside down very quickly for WhiteRa, as both these Stalkers could possibly fall, but Dimaga playing this very safe. Whoops, he is going to be splitting up his lings right now as speed does pop. Going to try to get this around on this one Stalker up here. And is he going to get it? Yes, he does manage to get that as this one Stalker. Is that going to go down as well? Yes, it does. Very nice play by Dimaga right now. Zealot, 2 Zealots and a Sentry to defend this. And those lings are no longer a threat, but taking out those 2 Stalkers was definitely very nice. Dimaga leaving this one Overlord right here. And we do see a forge now being built by WhiteRa along with a robo facility. And Dimaga just going to be taking his 3rd base. You can see Overlord spread out for Dimaga. Not too bad. Has lings down here so we can see if WhiteRa decides to move out. Has an Overlord right here. What I would love is just a ling to be on this watchtower in case there was any probes just wandering around the map that Dimaga didn't know about. And WhiteRa going to be building 3 pylons right here, worried about some type of Nidus network. And that is a very legitimate concern against Dimaga, just because, again, you never know how Dimaga is going to be playing. It looks like he's going to be trying this ling bling yet again. And I haven't seen too much of Dimaga recently, so maybe this is common for him. But it is definitely a Zerg style I am not used to seeing, and I don't think many of you are used to seeing as well. We do have a second robo facility, and this could be bad. WhiteRa may just hit a vicious Colossus timing, as he does have a Robo Bay and will be double producing Colossus very, very shortly. He is still just on 2 base, so he's not going to be building any more sentries or any gateway units for that matter. He could build some Zealots. And if Dimaga was coming up and poking in frequently, I mean, he could safely get right here and kind of see the army count and not see the gateway units, not see any Stalkers coming in. That may tip him off that something is coming, but Dimaga right now not too concerned about that. We'll see if he does poke up, because this... seeing 3 Zealots and 4 Sentries at 10 minutes and 30 seconds in the game is definitely not something that players would be used to seeing. There's stuff missing. There is 1 Immortal, 3 more Zealots, and if Dimaga would poke up here, he would see all of this minerals now being morphed in, and he'd be wondering, where is all your gas going? You're in 2 base, your only gas in the past like 2 or 3 minutes was an Immortal and a Stalker. There's definitely a lot of gas missing. And that would be the double Colossus with Thermal Lance. So if Dimaga kept on poking up and down those ramps, he would have seen that coming. But because he wasn't, he doesn't know exactly what WhiteRa is up to. And of course, WhiteRa could be whooping in units here and hiding them. We do have +1 now, just finishing for WhiteRa. And that will be very handy, as Dimaga does love his lings, but he does already have +1 armor, so the Zealots will not be 2-shotting lings anytime in the near future. And we do have 2 Colossus here, and there's lings going to come in, try to get this around, kill off as many sentries as he can. Then the Banelings do come in, but more and more force fields are going down. The Banelings are about to hit. All the Zealots do fall, but Immortals do stay alive to Banelings. And it looks like the Colossus are going to be microed back, and all the heavy units do stay alive. There's 2 Colossus and Immortal don't go down, and that is not good for Dimaga. So he's sending in more and more lings, and got to take out both of these Colossus. It's going to be close. Yes! Does get both of them, and he can back off. He doesn't really care about this Immortal that much. He more cares about these sentries than the Immortal, I would say. Just because Immortals against lings, why? Why? But again, he really cares about taking out the sentries and the Colossus. Those are the 2 units that Dimaga wants to kill whenever he battles, because as long as WhiteRa doesn't have any sentries or he doesn't have any Colossus, he cannot engage Dimaga. Dimaga now getting a Spire so he can go up into those Corruptors, and we did see him trade Corruptors last game, then morph in Brutalers, and that was very nice. Looks like he's sending a few lings off to the side to do some type of counter attack, and WhiteRa is going to be seeing this with a few units that are going to reinforce. Lots of Zealots, 2 Sentries, and 2 Colossus going to be going into this 3rd base. Baneling speed has finished. Targets those sentries down immediately while those lings go on this Colossus. Colossus is going to micro to the high ground. One Colossus does fall, but now this Colossus can just go up and down all day and not get taken out, as we do see WhiteRa is abusing that. While a Zealot does go into the middle line, but Lings do clean that up, and WhiteRa's only going to have a single Colossus out, and that single Colossus, again, can just be microed all day. And Dimaga, I mean, can't really engage that Colossus in this position because WhiteRa is going to be doing that, but he does get the surround. More units coming in. The Colossus does fall, and looks like that was actually cost-effective. It takes one Colossus several shots to kill a Zergling when he's microed like that. And now these Zerglings are getting a surround on these two Colossus, and neither of them fall, but this one goes in the deep, deep red. 29 health left. We have more Zealots coming in. WhiteRa just getting Colossus 2 at a time, and just getting lots and lots of Zealots because he's only seen Zerglings. But then you gotta keep in mind, Dimaga is morphing in Banelings whenever he gets the time. And we have some very nice creep spread by Dimaga. WhiteRa better be taking this out. He has an Observer, I believe, going into this units counting station. Yeah, he does have an Observer. And engaging Banelings on creep is just never, ever, ever a smart idea. So he should start taking that creep out. He has all the time in the world to do so. I mean, Dimaga is not wise to engage into WhiteRa. He's more wise to let WhiteRa engage into him. You do see this one. There is an Overlord. Here it is. 3 Banelings in that Overlord. Going to be going in to do a Baneling bomb attempt yet again. In game number 2, he had huge success in game number 1. And all these Corruptors going in, sacrifice themselves against the Colossus. You can see them just clicking them down, but I don't see Corruption used. And that's a little bit odd. There's Lings now going to be coming in as the Corruptor count did get very, very low, just to delay all those Stalkers. And now all the Colossus have been taken out, and Lings are just going to keep storming on in. But we have more and more Colossus out from WhiteRa. And it looks like Dimaga in a little bit of trouble. Has 40-some Lings on the way, and here we go. Baneling Bob going to be dropping. So far, 2 probes have died. Now we go up to 14. While WhiteRa now going to be taking out a lot of drones. This 3rd base is going to be falling. It will be 2 base Zerg versus a 3 base Protoss, and that is never a good situation. We don't have a Hive out, so he can't go into Broodlords, and this will most likely be GG. Just because WhiteRa is going to outlast Dimaga. He has all of these Zealots 1-0 upgrades versus 2-2, but the Zealots, just too many of them. Banelings are morphing in so he can try to take out these Zealots and then go in against Ling versus Stalk and win that fight. And again, the Corruptor's not using the Corruption ability, and that would even help using it on those Zealots so those Lings do extra damage. Every little bit helps, especially when the game looks like it is over. WhiteRa is going to reinforce with more Colossus, and Dimaga will fall. He doesn't have anything to deal with Colossus, and being on one mining base pretty much is not going to be able to produce enough to deal with the Colossus. Going over into this income, you can see WhiteRa way ahead of Dimaga in terms of his income, almost double the minerals, and mineral-based army will win because it's Zealots versus Zerglings. Zealots do beat Zerglings hands down. Unless Zerglings do have adrenal glands, and then I think it does even out. But Zealots and Mass are always very tough against Zerglings because they just don't get surrounds. You can see WhiteRa not even focusing on getting that gas, just focusing on the minerals right now because he knows all I need are Zealots and Colossus, but he has proved me wrong by morphing in a lot of Stalkers. Does not have Blink, and he may be thinking Broodlords are on the way. He hasn't used that Observer in some time to see the main base, as it has just been staying with his army. But gets those force fields down, takes out the Banelings. The Zerglings can't really do too much, and there goes the GG by Dimaga. WhiteRa will be taking game number 2, and we will go into game number 3 very shortly. Stay tuned.